but we were talking about energy, and this just popped into my mind because I always think about how everything is made up of energy,
I agree.
including clothing. So when you're putting that on your body, it's the fabric, there's a different frequency, there's an energy of who worked on it, and so your skin is absorbing that. So I'm curious with makeup,
Yes.
how that comes into play, especially now with like this whole clean beauty movement.
Yes.
And just the energy of what you're putting on your face and your skin.
Yes. No, I think that's very important. So that's why I love Sisley, because they use a lot of plants. I think plants hold a lot of energy, and also it's still family owned. So I think back to energy, I think when you get and dive into more of like the corporate America, that creates a certain energy, and when something is being created with love, there is an energy difference to it. Like water, they say if you put water, down and you send like love to it, it actually changes the molecules of the water.
Welcome to the Style Awakenings podcast. I'm Amanda Weil, soul stylist and your host, and I am joined today with Lindsay Wells. I'm so excited. Lindsay
Excited.
Yay! Lindsay is a Sisley-Paris national makeup artist. And I love this. She says Webster's definition of an artist is one skilled or versed in learned arts, also one who professes and practices an imaginative art, which I totally get. And being imaginative is one of Lindsay's core traits and just one of many that propelled her to becoming a national makeup artist for Sisley-Paris. And Lindsay really began honing her craft in Austin, Texas, while working with some of the top makeup lines. And it was really her thirst to learn more and challenge herself that brought her to LA, where she quickly flourished, of course. And she's been working behind the scenes doing makeup for fashion shows, for film, red carpet events, and her work has also been published in multiple magazines. And Lindsay really loves to showcase. She's also showcased her work in some of the most prestigious boutiques in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and beyond. So it's really Lindsay's imagination, which I think you can see with like her beautiful fun sparkle in her hair, along with her flawless application skills that has produced a faithful following of clients of all walks of life. And she really does have the ability to instantly connect with her clients and take their natural beauty to a height that only she can imagine. And I will say that last part is totally true, as that's how we initially connected at the OC Style event. And while your work is stunning, which I got to see, you totally revamped my makeup, what really resonated with me is your epic energy. So I'm so excited to have you here, Lindsay. Welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Amanda. It's a pleasure. You are amazing. And I loved your energy as well. So when you said, I would love to have you on the podcast, I'm like, let's do it. Yes. And I just love what your podcast is about and the depth of spirituality. I myself would call myself a very deep and spiritual person. So yeah.
And I knew that, when you just know, you meet someone and right away, I could just see it in your eyes. And there was something about it when you were up on stage sharing and presenting. I just knew. I was like, I need to talk to her. I just need to connect with her. You just know. So I'm so grateful we did.
You do just know. And as cheesy as it sounds, I do think the eyes are the window to the soul. And there really is there is a universal energy through the eyes for sure. I mean, I do feel like our eyes, I don't know, this is the first time I've thought this. So maybe it's too out there, but I'm you can see the universal energy in us through our eyes. And I do think it does connect to our spirit and soul. And I think that also connects us to each other and that universal energy that we have and that we share. So yeah, it's good.
I'm with you.
And that's my favorite thing to pop makeup wise. Eyes, I'm they are the most important to me. Anything I do with cheeks, lips, definitely eyeliners and stuff pops people, pops the eyes and makes people look at the eyes more. So yeah.
Yes, I will attest to that. And I love what you were just sharing too, because I totally agree with you. People can put on an act, they can pretend to be happy, they can pretend to be satisfied, all that. Yet if you're really in tune, you can look in someone's eyes and really know the depth of if they're actually happy, if they actually feel confident, or if it's all an act. And I think that's a special gift that you have. I feel it's a special gift that I have. And not everyone is present enough to notice that
Awareness. I
awareness.
think awareness is something that as a society, like we could really work on, just like becoming more aware. And just, I think it's very important because we're not taught a lot of things that I feel like we should be taught in school, that like feed into our positive self-worth and the way that we see ourselves, even, and the way we speak to ourselves, and all these things play into the beauty both inside and out. And like you said, if you're aware, you can really tell through somebody's eyes. Even in a picture, I can tell, like, if somebody really is genuinely happy in their life. And I think it's very important. I think it's very important to ask yourself, what makes me happy? What things make me happy? Even in like makeup, I try to encourage women to, think outside the box, like be creative with it. So many times we put ourselves in this box, like both metaphorically and, like I'm doing the same thing every day, and the brown eyeliner and the black eye, and I have this and I'm like, no, be creative. Like we've got human needs, and creativity is one of them. And like, think outside the box, play with some colors, like feed your soul through meeting your needs, knowing what your needs are, and like being creative and fun. And like, I think a lot of times, like as we grow up and become adults, we lose touch with like the fun of life, and we're also busy just doing and working. And I get it, because we all have to survive, but like we really need to also make sure that we're feeding our souls and our happiness, and really meeting multiple needs for ourselves.
I love everything that you were just sharing, because I agree with that wholeheartedly, that we've forgotten how to play, we've forgotten how to be. And it's the same when I'm working with clients with their style, that forget about all the rules. Forget about all the rules you've been taught. Forget about someone who told you you couldn't wear XYZ because of your body shape, or someone that told you you're a spring or a summer or whatever color. I don't even subscribe to any of that stuff. But forget about all of that, because it's not that. It's like, what is your soul actually craving? What's going to light you up? Because that's the true you.
Yes.
Right?
That's honestly, I love that you say that. And like literally, I'm like, this is my soul sister here. Because I constantly tell women that as well. Like, do what you want to do, And even in my style, I'm like, I don't even know the rules about when to wear white, when to not wear white. I wear what I want to wear. The other day, I wore a white dress I got in Italy, and just was like, I don't even remember the rules about white, and I just don't even care because I want to wear it, I just want to wear it.
It doesn't matter.
And like, that's, I think every day with style, I also wake up and I live my life by what outfits inspiring me or calling to me. It's kind of weird and hard and like weird to say, but you'll understand this. There was like one time I just got this vision of like wearing like, so I sing and write music as well, like, right? So like creative. I just got this vision for on stage to wear these like big, like mesh, I guess they're like not tutus, where they're like the short dance ones, but like the long ones. And I was like, I had no clue where I was going to find this. And I'm like driving down Congress in Austin, and I'm not even joking, I look to the left and there it is. And it's like, human beings, we don't give ourselves enough credit for how magical and amazing we really are, and how much power we really have, like through like our women's intuition, and like the fact that we are the source, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like, I think like the fact that we have like, we can create such amazing things with our lives if we really put our mind to it and use our mind in the right way. And I wouldn't say I am like probably the best manifester, but I do think I'm pretty good at it. And I manifested those skirts, and it's just, I think that's the power of creativity and the mind to create a vision for yourself. And I think, you know,
Hmm.
our clothes and our makeup is just a perfect way to express that. So I always too, just like you, I try to encourage clients of like, you know, makeup is supposed to be fun. There's no rules. Like same like you, I try to say like scrap the rules. Like rules about what? And even like I love the question the other day about trends, but I personally I don't even really care about makeup trends. I'm just kind of like whatever
I don't.
you want to do, like whatever is trending for you personally is what you should go with. And I think like right? Like we just have to
Same.
like learn to connect deeper within ourselves because you really do, you know what's best for you. And
Hmm.
I think we've just connected from like the programming, you know, just even like having to be in
Hmm.
society, we forget who we are as like souls and like greater beings. And I think like we just want something to cling to, you know? And so, yeah, I just try to, like you, which I love that you're on the same mission of just like wake people up to like, hey, look, makeup can be just fun and creative. And like, you know, if you don't want to wear foundation, don't wear foundation. You know, if you don't want to, you know, like do what feels good in you to do, you know?
Yes, we are like the same person. I love it. You're preaching it. You're preaching all of it. All of it. So much that you said. I'm like, there's 20,000 things I could respond to there. But yes, the trends. That is like my least favorite question too.
Right?
When someone just comes up to me and they're like, well, what should I wear? What's on trend? And I'm like, uh, okay, let's start with like, who are you? What do you want to create in this life? And what you were saying about having the vision for what you wanted to wear on stage, it was totally your future self calling it forward. Like, hey, this is what you're going to wear on the next performance, and it's going to lead to the next big goal. And it's funny because with my clients, we'll get really clear on, well, not, it's not funny, but like we'll get really clear on their vision first of how they want to show up. And clients who hate shopping, who feel like they can never find anything great, we'll go shopping together and they're like, we find everything. We're like, I have a great list for them. Like, oh yeah, we need this, we need this. And they're like, how did we find everything that we needed? I'm like, because we got clear on what we needed first.
That part.
You just need to get clear and decide. And that's what I think a lot of people think with manifestation, that they could just sit back and like kumbaya and like, I want this, but they haven't fully decided for it. And then
Yes.
they aren't taking the action to be it.
Yes. I love that. And I think that's just, I think it's because like we're well, like a lot of times we don't realize it. Again, just like the unawareness is like we're
Mhm.
not connected to our needs as much as we think we
Mhm.
are. So, like you said, once you
Right.
know what it is that you're wanting, your vision, your needs, it's so simple, you know, and it's so simple to walk out. And that's even a deeper lesson in life. Like that
Yeah.
translates to everything. Relationships. A lot of times it's like we're not fighting about the thing. Like we're fighting because there's like an unmet need or like there's like the thing is really it does come. I just read a book recently and I loved it. It's called Nonviolent Communication. And I
Ooh.
feel like everybody needs to read this book. It needs to be in like everybody's queue. Um, but he said that needs are the language of the heart. And I love that because it's like you never, you know, we're not taught to think like that, you know? And
Mhm.
so but I love that. And it's like when you really get to the depth of that, it really is true. I mean, people come in for makeup because of something they need, you know? And like there's a need they have for like their clothes, to express yourself through your
Mhm.
clothes. Like these are very personal things, but there is some sort of needs being fulfilled. And when you release those blockages, like you said, of like, you know, what do I need? What are other people doing? It's not about that. Like it's about what do you need? Like what do you need through like whatever clothes you're gonna pick out to wear today? Like what's calling to you? It really can be that deep and intuitive. I know it sounds crazy, but it really is. And you know,
It's
even
not
with
crazy.
makeup, like and that's what I love helping women do. It's like, you know, get out of wearing the same like brown and black eyeliner and like let's play with some colors because that's really gonna
Mhm.
like highlight the beautiful tones and the colors in your eyes. And you know, even just learning the color wheel a little bit is like really important because it's like yeah, a purple eyeliner is going to really make green eyes pop, you know? A blue eyeliner is really going to make brown eyes pop. And, it's like, and with brown eyes, like a brown, I mean, with blue eyes, sorry, with blue eyes, like a deep, like brown and even purples are going to make blue eyes pop. Or you can complement on the color wheel and put blue with blue eyes. And that's also going to make blue eyes
Mhm.
pop. And again, that's like my main thing with women is to just get their eyes popping and just telling them, like, just be confident in yourself. Like, nobody's going to notice the little dark spot you have on your face. Like, we're the most critical of ourselves too.
Right,
And,
right.
like, I always say this, which is kind of funny, but I'm always like, ma'am, if somebody is this close to your face, I hope you're having a lot of fun, Like, I hope they're not interested in the dark spot on your skin, and I don't think they will be. But I don't notice it from here. But I'm
Yeah,
also like compassionate in that I can be that way too. Like, I notice the most on my skin, but I just constantly
of
try to bring
course.
myself back to a deeper self-worth of like, listen,
Mhm.
Linz, the little thing you notice here, nobody's going to notice, your little acne scars you have, because I could have been like an acne commercial growing up, nobody notices, just you do. So
Yeah.
just be confident, be creative with your life and your makeup and what you wear and the makeup I wear, and, you know,
You know what I
rock it.
love is that you use makeup like I use clothing as a tool to help women fall back in love with themselves, to remember who they are, to release because you're right. It's just like everything we want is in front of us. It's just the resistance and these societal norms that have come into play that make us think we should be a certain way or we should be doing something. I always tell people to stop shooting on themselves, and we don't let her, like, we're trying so hard to be a certain thing that we think is going to make us fit in. Yet once you actually let that go and just be yourself, you become so magnetic that people won't leave you alone.
Yes. So I love that you said that. And this is just such a meant to be conversation. Like you said, I feel like you're speaking my language, my soul
Yeah.
language. But like in this book, I love reading books because I feel like they help me put words to what my soul is trying to say.
Hmm.
Because sometimes it's hard, like you said, because of our programming and the conditioning and then our subconscious and all these things and the resistance. Resistance has been a huge thing I'm working on this year, of just letting life happen. And in this book, he says one of the, I call it the worst word that can be in your vocabulary that you should remove immediately, is should. And he said, we've learned all these things in our vocabulary that's just, how are you dialoguing with yourself? We're like so hard
Hmm.
and unloving to ourselves. So
Hmm.
it's just, yeah, like, what would, I love the question, like, what would, and I got this from one of my mentors that I love to watch, but what would someone who loves themselves do? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's an important question to ask yourself. And like you said, I love that. Like, yes, I try to connect people back to the love of themselves, through
Hmm.
makeup, through skincare. Yeah. And you through clothing and style. And I love it.
Yeah. So, how did you actually begin this career in beauty? And when did you like realize this deeper transformational connection?
That's a great question. I started years ago, probably like 15 years ago. I was working for the church organization, and I like to put organization behind that word because I feel like it should be put behind that.
Okay,
And
got you.
there were things about it that I just was not liking and passionate about. And it's really hard to start questioning something you've been raised in your whole life. And like, you feel like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, like, I don't want to lead people astray, but this is like not really sitting well with me, the way this organization is working, and
Hmm.
the way that I'm having to be a part of it. And, And so my mom was like, look, you've always been really amazing at makeup, and there's never anybody at the Chanel counter like down the road. Like, why don't you go and interview? So I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, and that's just my like self-confidence of like, yeah, I'm gonna interview first makeup job for Chanel and I'm gonna get it. But I did. And I honestly think it's because the day I interviewed, like, of course, she's like, do you have any prior experience? And I'm like, no, but I was in theater and I watched all the makeup artists do my makeup, and I became the girl that did everybody's makeup. And I could tell she's like, and we had a late start on our interview because two makeup artists didn't show up, which just helped me. Like, again, just like one of those universal things that was just like meant to be. Because then she's like, listen, I've got to cut this short, but I'm gonna give you a proposition. If I pay you such and such an hour, will you work the rest of the day for me? And I was like, yeah. And like after I said yes, I'm thinking like that's when my heart started pounding. Like I just did without thinking, again, with non-resistance. But then of course, once you start to think and overthink, like the brain, we really have to work on seeing our thoughts as a computer and not listening to them. You know what I mean? Because these can really, really lead you down the wrong way if you think it's actually your thoughts, you know? So I did it. I like pushed past those thoughts of like, oh my gosh, like, what are you thinking? You don't even know Chanel. You've only used $2 eyeshadows. Do you know what I mean? Like, but she's like, had me follow one of their lead artists. And she's like, I'm going to have you follow two people. Half a person in. She's like, Lindsay, here's your first client. And I just thought, well, here we go. Like, I listened to the artist next to me. If it was like a Chanel connoisseur, I just didn't say much, but I trusted in my makeup artistry skills. So I've always leaned on my art. I would call myself like the ultimate, like art. I am an artist. There's not much else I do well. You know how some people can like be an artist and a manager, be an artist and a business person. I would say I'm like definitely your artist that needs business people to help me
Got
out.
it.
Because I'm like, that's where I'm gifted, is in the art of things, you know? So I did great and I got hired, you know? And so I started with Chanel. I was with Chanel the majority of my career. I moved here and I got recruited by Gucci to be one of their first, one of 6 makeup artists to launch their line back when Pat McGrath was, like helped to create Gucci. And that's where I got to like work with Madonna's makeup artist, and we did celebrity events and like did the Grammys and LACMA and a bunch of different like really cool things. And yeah, then eventually that led me down the road to becoming the national makeup artist for Sisley, which I've also gotten to do a lot of celebrity makeup and events too with them. And I love the brand. I love that it's still family owned and operated, and they still very much are about putting quality product, like quality plants and stuff in their makeup. And so it's something that's beneficial for humans, like even wearing makeup, you know, for the skin. And so I love that message. But I would say I started like my deep, like getting deep spiritually when I left the church organization, you know, but I would say I really started diving deep in 2018. And of course, like I, you know, Eckhart Tolle in one of his books, he says like, we're not yet like there where we don't learn and grow like just on our own through like positive experiences, although it can happen. And I want us to all get there, but I definitely had a tough year in 2018, and that catapulted me into like a rapid spiritual growth. So I'm very grateful for that, you know, because had I not been through some of the things I have in life, you know, as we all go through things, I don't think I would be as deep spiritually as I am. And I think that, you know, these pains in life and the growth moments we have to go through really are gold for the soul, you know? It's
Oh, yes.
gold, you know?
Yes, I'm totally with you. And it's, again, it's making a decision to either learn from it and move forward or to allow it to crush you.
Yes. Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Those are the choices, right? So
Yes.
instead of
Yeah.
allowing it to crush me, I just threw it into art, and I just, um, continue to work hard and to serve people and to work on my own self-love journey to deeper be able to connect and love people as well, because I genuinely think you can't love others until you love yourself. I really think that is a golden rule, and I do love that Bible verse if we're talking about that. Like, I do love that. Like, you have to love others. I mean, you love yourself. You have to take care of yourself too before you can love others. And I think that that's, yeah, important. So,
Agree. And then on the journey of growth, it's like you're never there. You get to keep growing because the more you grow and expand, the more you can then bring back to your clients. And also you just start attracting in different clients and you start attracting in different things as you grow.
yes, because energy is everything too. It's so important. So,
Yes.
yeah, like with what you attract.
Yes. And there's okay. I want to ask a question, but I want to ask another question first. But I want to remember the energy thing. So, okay, living in LA for 23 years myself, I'm now down in Orange County, but living there 23 years, working in the entertainment space, I was in that space as well. I know that it can be a little bit tough. We'll just use that word tough. Do you feel like you have had to grow thicker skin being in that industry, or do you feel like your energy and the way you show up attracted in just really beautiful experiences?
Both. I feel
Mhm.
like definitely LA is a city that you will either grow in or you will, you know. Um it is definitely a city that you have to learn to grow in a lot of ways, you know,
Yes.
even just in traffic. I think a
Oh my
huge
gosh.
practice is, that's where I'm learning to release resistance of like, learn like this is low hanging fruit of like, why
Yeah.
do you get so like, this is one of my releasing like resistance exercises, because if you can do it with the small things, then eventually you'll be able to do it with the big things in your life. So, like,
Mhm.
just when I'm in traffic, just like being grateful, like releasing
Mhm.
resistance, because me getting upset or anything, and I think that's the same thing in LA, like with opportunities and being there's definitely some dark parts of the industry that I have not chosen to be involved in, right? So, I only attract lights in the industry, and like Aaron Henriksen, Madonna's makeup artist, like he's amazing and just such a like peaceful light person, like lives his life creatively. And I do try to just surround myself. I think it's important who you surround yourself with. And I do only attract great things. I don't see a lot of darkness and things because I just surround myself with the light of the industry. And so I think both. There's been things and opportunities that have really challenged and have been good for my growth. I don't know if I wouldn't have moved to LA. I don't think I'd be the person I am now. And so I am grateful for the growth that it's allowed me. And some of that has been through, some tough things, but I've been very blessed in my career, I would say. I think hard work in LA does pay off. I do always tell people if they're wanting to move here, I'm like, if you are willing to work very hard, and I mean very hard, like you're not going to be able to come here and just, it's going to come to you, like,
Yeah.
but with a
Yeah.
lot of hard work, positive attitude, good energy, you know,
Mhm.
LA can make all your dreams come true if you allow
Mhm.
it, and I don't think
Yeah.
I would have achieved in most of my dreams like I have here had I just stayed in Austin. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel like that's the beauty of LA. And I try to focus on that and work on the rest, and use it as like an opportunity for deeper spiritual growth within. So,
I love that
yeah,
growth and reflection. And yeah,
yeah,
completely. I have such my time in LA was, and I'll be back. I know I'll be back. This is just a short stint. I know
yeah,
I'm coming back to LA.
yeah. How do
My
you
time
feel?
was,
Like,
yeah, hard stuff, a lot of challenges, yet I would never give it up. And I still love LA in my heart. Like when people are like poo pooing on LA, I'm like, it's an amazing, what are you talking about? It's an amazing city. Like
thank
there,
you.
there's so much opportunity. We have healthy food. We have
Yeah.
like beautiful people. Like, of course, there's issues. There's issues everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
what do you choose to see,
Agreed.
right?
Yes, it's what you choose to see and who you choose to surround yourself with. And like
Hmm.
I said, I think a lot of people come here with the expectation that they're going to be able to take their mentality from the place they were before into this city. You
Yes.
can't, like you cannot take that mentality here. And I've seen so many friends come and go, but all of my friends want to come back here and they miss the city and they cry for the city and they're like, why did I ever even leave? So it's like I think there's a lot of reasons that our society, and I think it's mainly the media that plays into the negativity of things. So we can get, if you're not awareness, going back to awareness, you can get pulled into that energy easily if you're not careful and just like block that. But like I mean, multiple friends, are like moving back and want to come back. And my girlfriend from Greece the other day was calling me crying and like, I miss LA. And then I had a friend that moved to Vegas and he's like, I'm coming back. It like, I'm counting it down, but I'm coming back. But this has been good for me. But it just like so many people, I think you need to do that in your journey. You need to leave and try something different. But a
Yep.
lot of times the magic and the beauty of LA does draw you back in. And that's what people don't hear, And then we
Hmm.
allow people that talk negatively about it to just influence. Like when I went home, like for a family reunion last summer, everybody was like, oh, LA, like and I'm like, I actually have a beautiful experience there. And like the sky's the limit. I mean, it's given me my dreams. It's allowed me, I think it's very important to like be able to set boundaries with family too. And it's allowed me to really explore who I am apart from like the beliefs of my family and what I believe. What do I value?
Hmm.
Who am I? Apart from all of that. And I said, it's really allowed me a lot of growth. So I'm actually sure if we want to focus on the negative, we can always focus on that. But there's always negative things to focus on because that's just the duality of life, you know?
Yes.
That's the balance. Yin and yang,
Yes.
light and darkness. Like it's always there, positive and negative. They're always they coexist.
Hmm.
So, like you said, I think it is about which do you want to see more, you know? So, yeah.
Yes. And this is perfect because it'll bring us back to the energy conversation that I want to have. Is it's right, where you direct your energy is what you're going to see more of because
Yeah.
it's life is a mirror. So
Yes.
you were talking we were talking about energy, and this just popped into my mind because I always think about how everything is made up of energy,
I agree.
including clothing. So when you're putting that on your body, it's the fabric, there's a different frequency, there's an energy of who worked on it, and so your skin is absorbing that. So I'm curious with makeup
Yes.
how that comes into play, especially now with like this whole clean beauty movement and
Yes.
just the energy of what you're putting on your face and your skin.
Yes. No, I think that's very important. So that's why I love Sisley because they use a lot of plants. I think plants hold a lot of energy and also it's still family owned. So I think back to energy, I think when you get and dive into more of like the corporate America, that creates a certain energy. And when something
Mhm.
is being created with love, there is an energy difference to it. Like water, they say if you put water, down and you send like love to it, it actually changes the molecules of the water. Then if you put like heavy metal music and it's like it makes all these weird pattern like so the thing is I don't even think we've like been able to really tap in and dive deep into how amazing and important energy really is. And so I do think clean beauty is important. I really do. um
Mhm.
I also um, think you want to make sure that it's a company that's like, you know, still
Ethical.
family owned and
Hmm.
because there's a lot of we believe a lot of things that are not true sometimes. I think like the
Yeah.
past few years we've really been an eye opened with that in my opinion. Not going to go down
Mhm.
that road, but like I
Yeah.
just think like yeah, I do think it's important to research what's being put in it, what's being put in the products. Who owns the company? Is like the creator still involved? Because you have love still put into that. You have like a personal, like, family touch. I mean, like, over the quarantine, I worked with Milena, who is like, like, still the family of the Diornano, like, part of the Diornano family. And there's a different energy with that that's being put into the products, you know? And I agree. Like, I love animals. I prefer cruelty-free brands. None of the stuff you're putting on, Cicely. We did the makeup for the Hero Dog Awards, and it was just so awesome. Like, we did all the, like, celebrity makeup backstage for that, for the speakers and presenters. And none of the products you put on your face are, but there's very strict rules with things, and they do, business wise, do have to sell in China, and we of course can't, like, control that, unfortunately. But the family is still very much involved, and I love that. And I think, as much it is important to get good quality ingredients, it's important to really see who owns the brand now, because so many companies are being bought out and owned by bigger corporations. And corporate America, I think when a family is still very much involved in a company, it's a beautiful thing, because there's personal touch, and that creates personal touch through their employees, and like you said, like, you have a beautiful mission for your clients, and they see that, and that's why they come to you, because really all we're looking for in life is, like, happiness, love, and connection, because we are love, we are
Yeah.
in the source of who we are is love, joy, happiness, peace. The person watching all these things, that watches your thoughts, watches the world outside, and feels the symphony of the heart, our emotions, that is a great being within, and I think all these things are important and can be used to connect you on a deeper level, so.
Yes. I love that. Everything that you shared. And it's just subconsciously, so many people might not even realize that what the makeup they're wearing, the clothes that they're putting on
Yeah.
is having an impact on them. And they wonder why they feel drained, or they wonder why they feel tired, or they wonder why they feel stagnant. It's because of these decisions and these things. Like, literally, if you are not really good at cutting cords and cleansing your own energy and kind of keeping yourself in the bubble of golden light, you're going to take on these other energies
Yes, you
that
are.
are more powerful, right? Or that,
Yes.
right? And so,
Yes.
yes, it's so important for people to understand that.
It's
So,
so important for people to understand that. And it is true. It is. Like, everything actually is very important. And again, brings us back to awareness. That awareness is very important, that what you wear, what you put on your skin, what you put on your face, the products you're using, like, that energy behind it is everything. We have a line in a song, and it goes, everything is energy, and it's like, it really is, like, everything is energy. And I think the more we can dive into that and learn more about that, I'm going to look up some books that are about that. I think for me, like, reading is one of the things that's been the best for my spiritual growth. So
yeah.
I definitely think the more we, like, tap into that and understand that, like you said, I don't think a lot of people even know that, like, these decisions affect. So, like you said, life is growth. Life is becoming more aware. And the more that we bring awareness to that, and the more people start thinking, like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that the material of my clothes could affect the way that I feel. And, like, the makeup that I'm wearing or the skincare I'm using could do that. But it's very important, and it's very true,
It's so important. That deeper awareness, the deeper intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people are, working with me, when they're working with you, they're learning these things. So that's why it's not just about the makeup or the clothes. It's about them understanding their energy, understanding how to manage their energy, how to shift it faster. Because we're all going to have bad days. Like, it's not all
Of
rainbows
course.
and sunshine,
Of
but it's
course.
just understanding how to shift out of that faster and faster and faster and faster, and
Yes.
allowing you to process it. So I feel like that's, with your clients, with your regular clients, you being the example for them is rubbing off on them.
Yes. And I think, like you
Yeah.
said, learning not to resist. Like, I think a lot of
Mm.
times it's like, we do push down emotions. So of course, like you can be insecure about that dark spot on your face. That's fine. Like be insecure about it, but eventually just realize that's only bothering you and I don't even see it, like just
Right.
like people don't see my acne scars. Anytime I say that, that's when they're like, and it kind of sinks
Yeah.
into them because
Yeah.
they're like, I'm like, yeah, so do you see my acne scars? And they're like, no. And I'm like, exactly. Well, they're there. I know they're there, but like it's not something I want to like focus my awareness on. You know what I mean? Because I realize that most people aren't going to see that, and there's like a deeper thing to life. There's a deeper focus in my life than just trying to stay so focused and like get neurotic about my acne scars. Like, that's not how I want to spend my energy. Like I want to build myself up, and I think that it's important to like you said, yeah, we all have bad days. I love crying. I think like crying is God's natural gift to us to like really be able to release emotions. And I think it's important to feel everything you need to feel on the deepest level, whatever it is. Like a lot of times I think we don't. I think we suppress and deny and disown. So I think it's important to feel to the deepest level and then release it, let it go, because you're going to be in the next moment and be aware in that moment. And then the next moment, you can just focus on that moment. And eventually those emotions are going to fade because they're just a melody the heart plays, and then the heart's going to play a joyful melody and you're going to be right back into joy, and that's just the beauty of human beings, and one thing Michael Singer says in his books that I love, he wrote like The Untethered Soul and Living Untethered. He says, you don't go to Africa and look at the animals and say, oh, that's not perfect. Oh, those animals need to be. No, you're like, this is perfect. And he's like, everything in creation is perfect, even the human beings. Like, even the human beings, we are perfect. And I think that like, the way we were created is perfect too. And if people really understood that and we stopped focusing so much on the imperfections that we have, which we do have them, it's fine. Like like I said, I'm not one to say like, oh, like, I know my weaknesses, the things I'm working on, my flaws. It's all good though, because at the end of the day, we're perfect. We're perfect just the way we are. And that's beautiful,
Love that. And I think that's the perfect way to end our conversation.
I do too.
As much as I want to keep talking with you.
I know. I feel like I could talk to you all day.
No, don't worry. We'll get together in person again, and we will.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for joining us today. This was so insightful. It's so funny. I had like all these different questions to ask you, and I love the direction that we just went in. It was so beautiful.
Very
and
beautiful.
What's the best way for people to find you and connect with you?
Yeah, so I have several sites. I have on Instagram, Lindsay Wells Music. I have Lucky Locks LA because I do hair sparkles as well. Just anything to add some positivity and joy and positive energy, because these Lucky Locks do create a lot of positive energy to people's lives. So I would say those are my two favorite ways, but I also have a website that I think you're going to link below. And yeah, those are the best ways. You can always message me on there and I will get back to you for sure.
Amazing. Yes, we will drop all of that info in the show notes for everyone to check out Lindsay. And you definitely need to, because this energy, this like when you need like that shot, that hit of like endorphins and just, remembering who you are and feeling positive and good about yourself. Yes. Definitely you're going to want to connect with Lindsay.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and I really hope you found value in this discussion. My guest and I have loved sharing and opening your eyes to the deeper impact style and clothing has on your life. And if you enjoy today's episode of Style Awakenings, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with friends who you know will also love and benefit from this podcast. The more we all learn to love ourselves and show up as our true selves, the lighter the world will become. Now go forth stylishly.